I know, right?
I will post.
All right. You could be our marketing consultant.
Yeah.
That was actually a really good idea to tag the readathon. That was a really
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, nothing happened from it, but it was a good try.
A for effort, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I got the notification, so we're on.
Oh gosh, yes.
all right.
We're doing big
Hey.
things.
Look at that. Well, we'll see who shows up. But I guess since we've started, this is going to be recorded, and I'll send this link to you guys after, so you can post it to your channels.
Oh,
so do you
cool.
want to just get started chatting about
Yeah,
Harry
absolutely.
Potter and stuff? Okay. Oh, hi! We've got some people joining us. Well,
See
got
the
a couple
people?
people
Yes,
coming
it
in.
comes with a puppy.
Hello. Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Being wherever you are. That's a good question. Where are you guys joining us from? And while they take their time to type, I thought it'd be good if we just started to talk about our Harry Potter origins, how we started reading Harry Potter. So, what's your guys' origin story?
Who wants to go first?
You guys have. I'll go first since I'm starting it. But when I was really young, before I could read for myself, my dad bought the books and he started reading them to me out loud. So we would read little by little every night, and we continued that habit throughout the entire series. So even when I was way older, we would read them together for the first time. So that, I was always a reader. So it's really close to my heart for that reason.
Oh my god.
Sure. Yeah.
That is everything.
Yeah, for sure. I love the series. What about you guys? Let's start with, I guess we can go counterclockwise to Sydney. What about you?
Sure. So, me personally, I hope I don't get bombarded after this, but I am finally finishing the Harry Potter series for the first time. I am on the right now. And, I have I haven't even seen the final movie either. So it's all I'm keeping it a surprise right now. You know what I mean? But I grew up, and it's actually kind of funny. I tried to read the series 10 times, but I couldn't get past the fourth book because I think I was so small and I just couldn't get past it. But I mean, regardless, I loved the movie. I watched all the movies growing up, just not the last one for whatever reason. But I've always loved the world of Harry Potter, and I'm so glad that I think it was 5 months ago, I was like, you know what? I need to read all of them right now. And I'm finally almost done with the whole series, and it's fantastic. How could you not love Harry Potter?
Right.
True.
Right, it sucks you in.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm actually jealous you get to experience it for the first time right now. I never get to do that again. So
yeah,
more power to you.
I love it. I love it. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Well, great. What about you, Sasha? Slytherin representation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first book came out in 97, if I remember well, and it got translated in French in 99. So that's when I started reading Harry Potter. And every year I would wait at midnight in front of the store with my mom to get the next book. So I'm from that generation. So yeah, I grew up with Harry Potter, started reading it. I was 9. So I really just grew up with it. So
right.
Nothing cute, nothing adorable about it. Just
that is cute, girl.
Yeah, just different. I love people today who can actually read all the books in a row, and I had to wait 1 year before the next book, etc. And that adds memory to it. But
right,
I'm an old one.
I'm with you, girl. I was in those lines too.
So I'm a little bit more like Sydney. I'm probably going to disappoint some people, but Twilight was my Harry Potter. So as you can see,
Okay.
I'm a Twilight girl. But I read Harry Potter for the first time 3 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been a minute, but I've only read it once, and I read them all in a row, back to back. But I mean, I watched the movies when they came out every year. I went to the theaters. I loved the movies. I just didn't know, at the time I didn't know there was a whole world, it was just like they were the thing. You went and saw the Harry Potter movies and they were amazing. And I just found myself Googling questions all the time. And if you Google any Harry Potter question, you will always see comments of people saying, just read the books, just read the books. Like you'll find everything in the books and it's even better. Yeah. So I did it. I just read the book and it was amazing.
Like, where is the lie there? There is none. But all right, guys. So let's take a look at some of our comments. Asked where people are from. The Netherlands. Woo! Welcome.
Hey, neighbor.
I think we met on Sasha's live stream before, the two of us. So thanks for coming again. I appreciate that. Let's see, where else?
I recognize India faces, and it makes me happy.
Czech Republic.
Oh, nice coffee mug.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Yeah, cute.
I'll keep it.
Welcome. See, Latvia. Welcome. All over the world. I love this.
This is wild.
Seriously. Hi, Daniela.
We need some Hufflepuff energy.
Yes, we do.
Seriously. Yeah, shout out if you're a Hufflepuff. Waiting for the next one. And the translation was hard. I feel you. It was hard. And I'm sure plus the translation was even harder. Let's see. Oh, Czech Republic.
Wow.
No, we don't have anyone from the same country yet. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Huff.
I love that.
oh, yeah, we got a Hufflepuff. Gryffindor, sorry. Hey everyone, I'm currently walking around a supermarket in England.
Me.
I know. Thanks for joining us. Hope we can entertain you.
I like that supermarket. She's in the one place that you can go in public.
Yes.
Right. Let's see.
Ravenclaw. Woo!
Ravenclaw. Oh, okay. Two Ravenclaws. Let's tally.
Yay, Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. Yes. Represent. Thanks for joining us.
Is that what houses we're in?
No, Gryffindor is great.
We can. Yeah, so we can say it as it pops up if you want. So Gryffindor here.
Gryffindor, what's up?
Hey! So our tally's up to 3 for Gryffindor. And let's see. We got a Slytherin. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get more Hufflepuffs so we can get a higher tally going there. Did you guys, when did you guys find out your house? Like a long time ago? Or is it a recent thing?
I think that when watching the movies, I always growing up, I didn't really consider the other houses other than Gryffindor. I was like, oh, everyone's got to be a Gryffindor because that's where the main characters are, But then obviously growing up, I was like, you know what? I think something's off. So then I did that Pottermore sorting hat quiz. And I got Ravenclaw and I was like, and then I obviously then went and researched what is a Ravenclaw? Then I was like, yeah, obviously that's exactly who I am. And it never went back.
You found your home.
I found my home.
Yeah. What about you, Storri?
I actually really liked Ravenclaw in the movies, and I think it was just because my favorite color was blue, and they were the blue house. But, I took the test. I want to say it was the first time I was reading Harry Potter. I think I was on the 4th book, and I was just curious. So yeah, I went online. I was in Gryffindor, and every time I take the test, no matter if it's on Pottermore or somewhere else, it's always Gryffindor. I never get anything else, so I feel like I'm a true Gryffindor.
Represent. Yes, I'm the same kind of thing. Never. Secondary is Ravenclaw. so I have some love for that. But
Mine is too, yeah.
What about you, Sasha?
I've always wanted to be a Slytherin, even as a kid, just because I always felt for villains and misunderstood characters. And even nowadays, like when I read books, when I see a misunderstood character or a monster or whatever, I just feel for it. And I feel like the Slytherins were just evil characters. So I just felt connected for some reasons. So yeah. And the test said Slytherin as well. And my second house, he's actually Hufflepuff. So
Yay!
Some more rep there. Absolutely. Let's see. We got a couple comments here. I always knew I was a Hufflepuff before there was a quiz.
Love that.
see.
Good for you for knowing yourself.
And I feel like you don't need a test to know in which house you are.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's
You
kind of
kinda
like what you feel, and then the test is just kind of like, yeah, you right.
Yeah. Exactly. I think I was always intrigued by Ravenclaw, but only started identifying as one a few years ago. Every single test puts me in Ravenclaw. Well, I think that's pretty solid then.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
justified.
The first time I took the test, I was trying to answer just to get Gryffindor, but I hope I get Slytherin.
I feel like a lot of people did that.
Yes,
Isn't that
honestly,
Slytherin
the
thing to do,
that
though?
test, I 100% answered like bravery as my answer, just so that I could
Right.
get into Gryffindor. And then it didn't sit with me. It was one of those things that's like the next like following week, I was like, I'm uncomfy with how I answered those questions.
Right.
I wasn't true.
I feel like if you're trying to get a certain house, like you're answering a certain way, you're just already a Slytherin. Like
Right.
a Slytherin would do that, right?
What does that mean?
But like,
No,
like some of those quizzes are so obvious. Like, what's your favorite color? Red, blue, green, or yellow?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Sasha is
Let's see.
offended.
First, I thought I was a Ravenclaw, but I'm actually a Gryffindor, just like my brother. Well, welcome to the pack. Or I guess pack is wolves. Welcome to the... What are lions?
That's fine.
true. Tribe?
Tribe? Welcome to the tribe. There we go.
Tribe.
Yeah.
It's like, let's see if the test is right. All right, wonderful. So I think we have just a couple more, and then we can move. The test 3 times, 2 times Gryffindor, 1 time Ravenclaw. You got a secondary house, girl. And my inner Slytherin just jumped out. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so now we know houses. Let's move to our owls, guys. So first question is, what career did you pick? So for me, I picked the Hogwarts professor. So I had 7 prompts to fill, and I picked it because 2 of them were predetermined prompts, and then the other 5 I could pick. So I was like, that's the one.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the career I ended up choosing. So maybe we could go clockwise for this one. Story, what about you?
So I kind of cheated. I know you're not supposed to do this, but I chose like 4 careers. And
Okay.
that's because I'm a really slow reader. Like most of the time when I do readathons, I do not complete them. I'll like read half the books that I set out to read. So I chose books that would pertain for different careers, but 2 were kind of easier and 2 were harder. So I went for the harder one, and then pretty much if I wasn't going to get it, I would settle for the easier ones.
Okay.
So that's what I did. So the ones I was really going for was either astronomer or orologist were the main ones. And then my backups were seer and journalist. I know that's a lot, but yeah, I completed all of them. So I can choose between astronomer or orologist.
All right. Yeah, no, seriously, that's smart planning. And I guess you did answer the second question saying you passed, so we can do them both in one. So I also passed. Yay. So yay. right, Sasha, what about you? I know your answer, but go ahead, blow us out the water, girl.
Okay, so I wanted to be a trader of magical tomes, and for that I needed to pass 4 exams. I mean, 4 hours, and by the end of the month, I had read 18 books, so I passed.
I say so.
Yeah, girl,
The-
so much respect.
Yeah,
was
first
proud of
time it
myself.
happened. Never happen again.
No, girl, be proud. Good for you.
Yeah.
What about you?
But I
Sydney?
passed everything for the owl, so that's fine.
That's great. I was studying to be an auror, and then I did the specialty as well with animagus training. So all in all, like there were 2 prompts in each of them that kind of like doubled, like they came up twice. So it could have been 6 books, but I ended up reading 2 books for like a book for each prompt that actually did show up. So I read 8 books, and I passed.
Yay!
So we all
All right.
Yeah.
You guys
We
know
all passed.
you guys do the page count,
I put the question in there because I was like, I really hope no one didn't pass.
Right.
'Cause that would be really awkward. So I'm glad we all did.
I did not have a career last year, so
Oh, really?
this is
I
my first.
wasn't here last year. I've only been on BookTube for like this will be like my 3rd month.
That's
So, like,
Wow. I mean,
I'm
I'm the
set up
same.
and everything.
I'm new with everything. Yeah.
Seriously? That's really impressive. I'm maybe a month in, so I'm a baby too.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, we can be BookTube newbies together for
I love
sure.
that. I love that.
Yeah. It's my first readathon too story. So yeah, I didn't have a career last year either. It's my first one. So let's see what some people said. Daniela. I passed all the owls, so I can do whichever career, and I haven't chosen yet. Respect. So 12 books at least. Culinary sorcerer, trader of magical tomes, and graphic designer sound the most interesting. All right. Well, really, respect. That means 12 books. Trader of magical tomes, but I can change that for the newts because I finished all 12. Wow, guys. Goodness.
I love those people. They're like, I'm not even going to choose one. I'm just going to read every prompt. And then they have every option.
Yeah, respect.
Right. Smart. Passed all the owls and the dragon tamer just because I had way too much time.
I feel that.
It's a good use of your time. And follow up.
16 books. Dang.
Wow.
All right. Well, major respect. So I think we've got what, 4 people who read all the prompts. So
That's
good for you
impressive.
guys. Yeah, really. I just made it with my 7. Like I finished the audiobook the night of the 31st.
I finished
So-
2 books the night before. Like
I'm
like 11 o'clock.
I'm like super behind on all posting schedule for my channel because if I literally had the option, I was like, I either have to read nonstop for the next 2 days or
Yeah.
edit videos to stay on track. And I was like, I'm gonna read.
Same.
Right.
I chose reading.
I mean, that's what the origin is, right? Reading, right? So
Right.
yeah. I ended up having to do the same type of like backlog because in Japan things aren't really shut down, so my work schedule hasn't changed, so I don't have any extra time. So I was like the same kind of choice. So so today I had to I filmed like 4 videos because I didn't film for like a week.
Nice.
So girl, I'm tired.
Me too.
Should be tiring. Great. All right. So then let's get into some details. So like a TBR or a brief overview of like what you read. So this is obviously if you have physical books, you can show them or you can just talk about them. Completely your choice. If you've got
Like, oh my god.
yeah, you could go if you want to grab some. Just go.
BookTube movie. I'm just kidding. I
Me too, girl. Me too.
I actually found it a bit harder to read personally. I thought I was going to have like all the time in the world to read, but every time I would sit down and read, I was like, I had so much on my mind. I'm like, how are people reading right now?
Yeah, same.
The mental state can make it kind of hard. You know, everything's just weird at the moment.
Yeah.
And
So
personally, I'm working full time from home, but I've never worked as many hours as I am now. Like, that's
Right.
just insane. So at the end of the day, I don't want to read a book.
Right.
But audiobooks are really helpful. So
Yeah.
I would spend all day on my computer, and then I'm like, I do not want to edit. Like, I just don't want to look at a computer anymore.
yeah.
I feel you on that. Yeah. I usually teach in person, but we switched to online, so I'm looking at a screen all day, and it's just not
fun.
Not good.
On the days that I work 12-hour shifts at the hospital. So, and the days that I work, it's very rare that I'm able to read.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit on my break if I get a break, but otherwise it's like 3 days out of the week, just don't even count them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, major respect, though. 12 hours. Whew.
Yeah, but 4 days off.
That's
So
true.
that's good.
That's
I can't.
I would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I'll just do a quick overview of what I read, and then we'll pass it around. And then in the next section, we could talk about favorite books. So I'll try to keep it brief. But I don't have them all physically. But the first prompt I had to do was Defense Against the Dark Arts, to be the professor. So that was the On a Sea or a Coast, the book On a Sea or a Coast. So I did The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So I don't have that physically, but I got it from my library, and I finished that one. And then I think most people know what that's about, so I won't do a synopsis. But then I had to do Transfiguration. So you had to do a prompt for whatever class you wanted to teach. So Transfiguration was something that included like shape-shifting. So I read this book, the 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. And it's like a short story collection of retellings of Asian myths written by Asian people.
I'm writing it down.
Yes, I was going to say, I highly recommend this.
I've seen that. I didn't know what it was about, though.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was on Book Outlet for a while, but like...
Girl, I am Book Outlet queen.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
That's the only place I shop for books, Book Outlet.
Right. So this, with all short story collections, there's some that were kind of a miss, but I would say 90% of the stories in here are hits. And as someone who loves Asian culture, obviously I live in Asia. So I really appreciated getting to read the mythology from somewhere besides Greece. It was really nice.
That makes my heart like excited. I really want to read that now.
Oh my God, please do. And let me know what you think. Yeah,
I will.
Really. So I think I gave this one 4 stars? 4, I think. Then, what was my third book? Ancient Runes. So you had to read a book with a heart on the cover. So for this one, I read Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. I don't know if you've seen any of her other books, but she tends to write like hard-hitting, it's sometimes fiction, sometimes real world story collections. So I had read another book by her of a collection of stories about rape culture. So I was excited for this one. But unfortunately, this one kind of let me down. It's not real world stories. It's like stories that Roxane Gay wrote about women who aren't necessarily good people, but it's the reality of their lives. And the concept is great, but it makes the reading process not fun. So, I ended up giving this one 2 stars, but if it sounds intriguing, you can pick it up. Let's see. Then I had Arithmancy, which was to read something outside of your normal genre. So anyone who knows me knows I'm a fantasy person. Don't know if you can tell. But, so I read a contemporary. So I read A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. And I don't know if you've heard of him before, but I recommend any book by him. He writes hard-hitting contemporaries. And so a man called, his name is not O.W.L.s. I can't remember how it's pronounced, but he's like, the main character is like an old grumpy man who kind of hates the world. And you see the world through his perspective. And by the end, you really grow to love him. So I would highly recommend that book. I gave it 5 stars. I was like crying listening to the audiobook. I was a mess. It was not cute. I have 3 more. So then I had Care of Magical Creatures, which I'm sure everyone will recognize this. Read a book with a beak on the cover. This bad boy. Yeah. I love how different all your reactions were to that.
Never read Sarah J. Maas. I'm like, okay. Seen that 1,000 times. I have no idea what it's about.
I don't like her at all.
Yep. And what about you, Sydney? You a big fan?
She's like, don't even.
I can't even like put in. I just filmed my my wrap up video yesterday, so I have all my books here. I'm like already crying. Like I literally love that book so much. Okay.
Right. I love all the different opinions on this. I love it. So like, for me, I have like a really not unique, but back and forth history of Sarah J. Maas. I love some of her books, and some of her books I'm like, please, child, no. So it's like both. So I think for this one, though, I was pleasantly surprised. He gave it 5 stars. I loved the shit out of this book. Yeah. So, obviously we're not going in depth, but it's you guys know what this is about. So ended up giving this 5 stars. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. The next one was Muggle Studies. So it was to read a book like from the perspective of a Muggle or a contemporary. So I read this. It's called Tomo-chan wa Ononoko, or it means Tomo-chan is a girl. So this is a Japanese manga. So I speak Japanese really well, but I'm working on getting my Japanese level to novel reading point. I can't read Japanese novels yet, but I'm reading manga to get there. And this is just like a romantic comedy manga where Tomo-chan confesses to this guy, her childhood friend. She's like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, that's friend. High five. So she's friend zoned right away. And then this series is just about kind of the development of their relationship or their friendship. It's really cute. So I don't know if it's translated in English. I should probably look that up. But if it is, I would recommend this as something cute and fun. And then my last one is Charms. So Lumos Maxima, a book with a white cover. Brandon Sanderson, surprise!
Obviously.
I really want to get into Brandon Sanderson.
Oh my God, please
Really
do.
bad.
Oh man,
I'm just recommended so much.
I'm here for all the questions you may have.
Okay.
But this is not a good starting book. Don't start with this one, but this is his short story collection. So after you've read all the books that are in his Cosmere universe, then you can read the short stories to kind of expand the worlds. So I ended up giving this 4 stars because, like I said, with the other short stories, some you really click with, some you don't, So I ended up giving it 4 stars, but it was a really fun ride. And there's a lot of characters you get to revisit in here. So that was great. And that's all. That's what I read. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let me just check and see if there's any relevant comments before we move on. Let's see. Okay, these can all... Oh, I got one about Frederick Bachman, so let me put this one up real quick. I really like Frederick Bachman books. I felt the same about O. Yeah, crying mess, but a beautiful crying mess. Let's see, we had a couple more.
Understandable.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also
focus.
passed because I changed my career midways because I was having a hard time to read. Well, that's all right. There's no real rules. So you do what you want. And last one here. Work full-time from home and 12 books. Whew.
Respect.
Respect. Yeah, exactly. We have a couple last ones. As friends, high five. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Like I recommend reading that for sure. Another one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Things will work out. All right. So, who would like? That's the end of the relevant comments at the moment. So, who would like to go next with their TED Talk? Anyone?
Up
I
to
guess
you.
I'll
All right. Rock, paper, scissors. All right. Well, Sasha hasn't gone first yet. Sasha, you want to go?
Yeah, you go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm gonna go quick because I've read like the 12 books. So first with my 3 stars books, this one was for divination, the binding, fantasy, adult, book about books. Basically, it has to do with a kid who one day is going to be asked to become a binder. So to bind books, obviously, but not regular books. And there is that kind of secrecy behind it because everyone knows how to read, everyone reads, but no one wants to read books or that type of books. And I really love the concept of it, but it let me down by the end because what we were focusing on at the beginning wasn't at the ending. So I was like, not happy. But
Oh no.
yeah, next I have here, because it was an audiobook, it was for arithmancy. So I've read The Institute by Stephen King, also 3 stars. I used to be a huge fan of Stephen King with the horror type of books, but now the horror he's writing about is more about something that could actually happen. So it's basically the story of kids being kidnapped, and they have some kind of ability. So they've been tested, etc., against their will, of course. And it's something that is more believable than what he used to write. So I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm gonna try another book by him and see how I feel. But this one wasn't like, it was okay, but didn't convince me, kind of thing. So then this was for Mughal studies. So I picked a manga. So contemporary is really not something I read. So I picked that manga to a bit like to cheat a bit, kind of thing. And it was beautiful. It's about a girl who learns how to grow up. She has to pay rent. But one day she realized that she doesn't like her job. So she's going to quit. And what is she going to do after? She has figured that out. So I feel it's very relatable, etc. But it was beautiful, heartbreaking, but contemporary is not for me. But I really recommend that manga, though, even if it was only a 3 stars. And it's huge.
Oh my gosh.
Well, hard-hitting contemporary is the jam. I like that idea.
Okay, so now moving on to the 4 stars. So this one was for History of Magic, middle grade fantasy, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I know a lot of people have read that one recently, and and I actually, it was Daniela's gift. So Daniela is in the chat. She gifted me that book, and I really, really love that. It's basically the story of a girl who got like, there is a village who every year will give up on a kid, and then they believe that they have to do that because the witch is asking for that, blah blah blah, and the witch actually doesn't understand why they're doing that. So she's gonna pick up the kid and bring the kid to a village and find the kid new parents. And on her way to the villages, she feeds the kid starlight, and that kind of gives the kid some like not abilities, but they're going to be nice to people, they're going to have more chance in life, etc., etc. And one day she's going to be too tired, she won't realize that she's actually feeding the kid moonlight, which gives the kid magic. And that's where it begins, because she cannot give up on her, because magical kids are troubles. So, yeah, it was really cute. But yeah.
Sounds
Okay, next.
adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. The only reason why I give that book 4 stars is that I'm really into pop fantasy, wintry settings, and I love to be able to picture the world building, and I missed that a bit in that book, but that's just because I'm a winter person. I didn't see anything wrong with that book. But and this is a fantasy great. I give stars as well. This one has Russian vibes because the main character is going to escape from a prison from in Siberia with her friends. Actually, she left with people she wasn't supposed to trust, but one of her friend will join her. And she's gonna go like in some kind of forest. She's gonna see things she doesn't understand, hear things she doesn't understand, and she's gonna discover some family secrets she didn't know about. So it was really cute as well. And I really love that in middle grades, it's all about friendships and adventure and discovering about yourself and family. So it's like lighter reads, but enjoyable. So
Yeah. So pure.
yeah.
Wholesome.
Potions, it was supposed to be a book shorter than 150 pages, so really, really short. I love that book. It's 1 week in the library, so the story is going to start on a Thursday and end on a Wednesday. If you go read the reviews on Goodreads, everyone hated that book. I gave it 4 stars. Everyone was like, the author actually tried to be smart with that ending, but he just ended up being stupid. Whatever. It's really short. I really enjoyed. It was typically like the guy was just explaining like what a Thursday looks like, what a Friday looks like in a library. Simple as that. No real adventure. There is not really a story, but short, perfect for readathons.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Get that last book in there.
Yeah, but I got a few mangas. So now I have 3 mangas. Then I have more novels. Astronomy, a book that you needed to read at night. Tokyo Ghoul. I'm not sure if you say ghoul or ghoul, whatever. I give it 4 stars as well. This is the story. What?
I'm just saying, I don't even know how you say it. Do you say ghoul or gal? Is that-
Ghoul. I don't know. Ghoul.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
So ghouls are living with humans, and they know about each other, kind of thing. And I'm scared to say more about it because a manga's like it's so easy to actually spoil something because it's so short. But I'm not gonna say more. I really loved it. It was a bit bloody, if you want. Yeah, I still have questions, so that's why 4, because I need to continue with that series to get answers. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It gets
moving
better.
on. Yeah. Okay. So Defense Against the Dark Arts, I think it was near the sea or something. Can't remember. I read Children of the Whales. I don't know if you read that one. Anyone here?
I haven't. No.
Basically, it has to do with people living on an island named the Whale, and the sea around them is actually sand. So they're like on a sea of sand. I don't know if that's a thing, but whatever. And you have 2 types of people on that island, the marked one and the unmarked one. The marked one are people with some kind of abilities and magic, and they usually die young. And then you have the unmarked one, who are people, normal people, who have no magic, who can live longer, and who are there to make the rules. So I'm not going to say more, but there is something that's really off. I still have questions. Like I have more questions that I had while starting that book. It started really cute. It was poetic, etc. At the end, I was like, what the heck just happened? I didn't see that coming. I was like, what? That's not an ending. So it's not even a cliffhanger or whatever. I was just like, no. So I already ordered book 3, 4, 5. So I mean,
They
2, 3,
got
4,
you.
5.
They got you.
Yeah. Okay, last manga. Parasite. Also,
Yep.
like, that's just, there is one night something happening, parasite arriving on Earth kind of thing and invading people. And the parasite has to actually go to your brain to take control over your body. But something's going to go wrong with one of the parasite and one of the human. And the relationship between the parasite and the human is just hilarious. I was like laughing all the time, but also sometimes in my vlogs, you can see like I make faces because like the part of your body that got infected by that parasite can shapeshift in whatever form they want. And some forms I wasn't expecting. And I was just like laughing. And then it was gross, etc. Like I had so many reactions while reading that book, but I still really enjoyed it. And it was weird, gross, but I loved it.
Yeah. I think I mentioned before, Sasha, when you talked about that. That's my boyfriend's favorite manga. My boyfriend's Japanese, so he loves it. So if you guys are interested in any kind of gore, like what Sasha mentioned, highly recommend that one.
Yeah. And I ordered the second one, so I'm going to continue with that. I'm intrigued. Okay, I have 3
It's
left.
weird.
Yeah, 3 books left. Another, so for Ancient Runes, that middle grade, Frostheart, that was recommended by Gavin and Jade. I don't know if you follow them. Middle grade, power fantasy. It's always the same thing, like family matters, adventure. It's super cute. It's about friendship. It's about secrets, etc. And it has a wintry setting, so it was just perfect for me. Charms, white cover. This is a sequel to A Natural History of Dragon. I keep recommending that series to everyone. It's about, like, it's historical fiction, fantasy. It's not a high fantasy, so you're not going to have people fighting dragons or dragons killing everyone or dragons everywhere. It's about a girl who wants to become a naturalist, and she wants to study dragons in a society where women were only supposed to be good mother, good wives, etc., etc. And this is a memoir. So you're going to read about her and she's going to be like, okay, but it was dangerous at that time. But as I'm telling you the story, no, you know that I survived. So it's really interesting. I really love it. But a lot of people got disappointed by this book because they expected a high fantasy, like with dragons everywhere, maybe like Priory of the Orange Tree or whatever. This has nothing to do with that. And this is adult. This is not YA.
Right.
That, and the last one, I know, Taylor, you were not a fan of it, but I gave it 5 stars.
No, I want to read that so bad.
You did?
Yay!
Oh my god.
I love that book. Like, I'm a character-driven person. And that first part of the book, I just felt. I was like reading that book. I was eating, and every time I needed to go, like, grab some water or take care of Mooney, I was like, okay, I'm here. Minute. I couldn't put that book. I read it like it's over 500 pages. I read it like in not even 2 days. So I was just almost that. But I'm a fan of Shannon Maguire, and that book just delivered everything I was not expecting, everything I was expecting, everything I wanted. I want to reread it like right now. So
well,
I
am so happy that you loved it. You know, someone needs to love on that book because it's not going to be me. I'm so glad you loved it.
So I was so scared while starting that book because I knew you weren't a fan of it, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. And then I started it. I was like, okay, she's wrong.
Well, you know what? I'll be with you on Wayward Children. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on middle grade. So.
I'm okay. I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. Well, Good for you, man. Nice. All those
Yeah, that's a
books.
lot. That is a lot.
I didn't mention the other books I read but that were not for the owls. We're just gonna forget about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good for the moment. All right. So would either of you like to go next? Or I don't, this is
I can go next. I didn't know if you wanted to, are there any comments you wanted to look at?
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Thank you. Let me see. We have just two new ones in between. Let's see. Currently working on my Amazon wish list whilst listening to you all. Nice.
I just made my first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still don't have one.
I just felt so weird about making a wish list. I was like, I don't want anyone doing this, but I need something to like save Amazon anyways. I can get it later when I do have money. So I was like, I'm just gonna make one.
I know, I need to make one.
Yeah, I haven't done it either, but the gifting culture that it starts is quite nice. I'll give it that, I really appreciate that. And then the next comment. Oh, Sasha, this is for you. I didn't know you read The Institute.
Yeah, actually, if this is the first book you read by him, you're not used to the horror that he used to write. So I think it's fine. I was just like, I knew his style had changed, but I wasn't expecting to be that different from It or Carrie or whatever. So I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's not what, like when you say Neil Gaiman, you have that genre in head. Like when you say Stephen King, you think horror, and that just Institute doesn't match that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't read much King before, but what I have read has been quite horror-esque. So.
Yeah.
All right, Story, want to take it away? What did you read?
Yes, so I only have 6 books, and 3 of them are audiobooks. But the first one I finished was for Muggle Studies, so that's just a contemporary book. And I read Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I think it came out this year. But basically, the main guy has developed an app where you can talk to people anonymously, but the kind of kicker is that he outs you at a certain point. So he ends up falling in love with this girl, but they don't know who each other is. So it's kind of like a Cinderella story, if you've ever seen that. But it is a mixture of Romeo and Juliet in a way, because their families both own restaurants that are competing against each other. But they don't know who each other is. And they both this is kind of the weird part. They both run the Twitter account for the restaurants, and they're like rivals on Twitter. And I know you all like Twitter. So it's odd. They don't know who each other are like on Twitter or on this app. And you're just like waiting for them to kind of find each other out. I did not like the first half of the book, but the second half was better. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. And our main character was from Nashville, so they talked a lot about Nashville, and I live in Nashville, so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was just a pretty average read, so I gave it 3 stars. The next book I finished was History of Magic. So this was a book that has wizards and witches, and I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Unfortunately, I gave this 1 star.
Oh no!
I gave it 1.5 actually. I can't decide between 1 and 2.
Big difference.
Yeah. It reads like a fairy tale, and I don't like that. I think that's the biggest thing in this book. It is middle grade, and I did not know going in that it was middle grade. That was my fault, but I mean, I picked up immediately. I was like, okay, this reads like a middle grade, and it reads like a fairy tale. I was just very bored. I did like the world, like you said. I liked the world. I thought it was pretty unique, and they made a lot of really good points for a children's book. But yeah, I was just very bored. Like I had to really push myself to read this. I made myself read 100 pages in one night, and like I said, I'm a slow reader. So that's a lot for me, and I didn't pick it up for like 5 days. Something like that. I just did not want to. And I buddy read this with people too, so they were waiting on me to finish it, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I I just don't like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I'm about to say the exact opposite thing for this book. And then next is I read for Arithmancy. I can't remember the prompt for Arithmancy. Oh, read a book out of your favorite genre. Is that
Yeah.
Okay. So
Out of your comfort zone.
yeah, so I think YA fantasy is my favorite genre, but to be honest, I'm in between right now because I don't really pick up YA fantasy anymore. I just started reading other genres like contemporaries and contemporary romances, new adult, more like adult fantasy than YA fantasy. So I think I'm getting out of my Twilight era, which is really sad. But I read The Poet X because, well, one, it's, I guess that's a contemporary, right? But I really like that it focused on poetry. It was very different. It was an audiobook, but I've never read or listened to a book like that before. And I kind of wish I would have read it because I know it's told in poems, right, Sydney?
Yeah, it was in prose or poetry.
Okay, yeah. Like the way she's talking, you can tell she's telling it in a poem,
Mhm.
but it is just like this ongoing story. And they talk about so many things. I don't even know how to get into it, but it was really, really good. I gave it 4 stars, I believe. I honestly think I probably would have gave it 5 stars if I would have read it. But it was a really good audiobook. It was only like 3 hours long, so I finished that one pretty quickly. And then Ancient Runes. So this was a book with a heart on the cover or a heart in the title. And I was going to read Queen of Hearts, but I ended up going the audio book route again because I just could not read another book. I'm a slow reader, okay? So I took The Kissing Game by, I think his name is John Ure. The audiobook was British, like all of his audiobooks were British people. So I don't know. He's very I've never heard of this author before, but this audiobook was only like 2 hours long and I gave it 1 star. I haven't had a very good reading experience. These owls, but basically it is about a kid who just started high school and he hasn't kissed anyone yet. So he's trying to figure out girls. He doesn't understand them. And he's a bit of an odd character. So there wasn't really a plot, to be honest. And he was so weird that it made me uncomfortable. So yeah, I gave that one 1 star. He's pretty much, he goes through the alphabet of different girls to try to kiss. And it was not cute. It was weird. It was weird. You guys should listen to it just you should listen to it just to know what I'm talking about because you'll be like, what is this? And then for astronomy, the day before I finished 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. So I'm doing this thing on my channel right now where I read books that have become movies or TV shows, and then I watch them and compare the two. So this was my next one for that. And astronomy was to read the book mostly at night. I probably read this 50-50 to be honest, because I just lost track. But I gave this 4 stars.
That's high.
Yeah, this is probably my best read I had. So both of our main characters have CF, which is cystic fibrosis, but the boy has a disease, and I can't say it right. It's like bisapasia. I don't know. But pretty much if he gets too close to the girl, she will catch it, and his is more of a deadly disease. And of course they fall in love at this hospital. So it's not working out. And the first half of the book was pretty boring. I really liked the characters, so that's what made me read it. But the second half of the book was I'm like a half reader. I hate the first half of books. I hate how slow it is and getting into a book and learning about everything. But then once you are in the middle, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing now because you're just totally invested. So that's what happened with this book because I thought I was going to give it 3 stars and I ended up giving it 4. But if you don't like insta love,
You're gonna love Brandon Sanderson.
I will.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, just,
Which one do you think I
if
should
like
read
you're
first?
set up for that, you're gonna love it.
Okay. Does he do a bunch of crazy stuff at the end or something?
It's called the Sanderson Lanch, the Avalanche. Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you're gonna like it.
So yeah, if you guys don't like insta love, you're not gonna like this. Like if you read the reviews on Goodreads, they're very like either or. I thought it was cute, and a lot of stuff happens towards the end, so I was entertained the second half. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. And then my last book was for divination, and I read Shakespeare sonnets. This one's called Shakespeare Sonnets Retold. So on the left side is the original Shakespeare sonnet, and then there's a modern version on the right side. So the guy pretty much just took all of his sonnets and rewrote it, and I really like poetry. So yeah, and this is really easy to read too, because I mean there's like 200 poems, so it's a lot. But if you look at this, like,
Right.
it's pretty easy to get through. And divination was to read a book from a random number generator. So I didn't even do like 5 or 10 books. I just did 2 books. I was like, I'm gonna choose 2 books I want to read. That way I would get like either way. And yeah, so I finished this one the night before too. So these 2 books the night before. So I thought I might not finish. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I have to have a career this year. So yep, that's all for me.
You made it. All right. Well, actually, I'm really interested in the Poet X, so it's good to hear another like decent review of it because I've heard nothing but good stuff about that.
Yeah, I really like it too.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
Listen to the audiobook if you don't have the physical one, because the
I
audiobook.
loved the audiobook. It's
Really?
narrated by the author too, so like that just adds a whole nother little level to it. It's like you can tell that she like loves the story, you know. It was good.
You can like relate to
All
it.
right.
Yeah, I gave
You
it
may
12
have
out of
just
10
added that to my mate's PR. Let's see. This one I already clicked. This one was Daniela reacting to Sasha's earlier comment about the Institute. If it'll pull up.
Yeah.
It's fighting me, but it felt more like a thriller than a horror.
Yeah, that's a possible thriller.
Yeah. And then for stories thing, you have a couple for you. Read 5 Feet Apart. I love it. Haven't seen the movie yet. Thought the story was cute.
I still need to see the movie too. I know a lot of people love the movie. That's why they were able to. But yeah, I think the story is cute too. But yeah, like I said, all the reviews, the bad reviews are just like, this is insta love. There's not very much development, but it's also a very short book. And I mean, it does read like a movie.
But wasn't there the fact that like it was written at the same time as the movie script was created or whatever? Weren't they created at the same time?
I think it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was after they were done filming, they created it.
Okay.
That's what I thought. That's where I saw somewhere, but I'm not sure. That could be right. But yeah, the author that wrote it, like, she really pushed. She was like, I want this to be a book. I want to do this. And she writes a little bit about it at the end of the book. But yeah, it's really cool how it started. I've never read a book that was first a movie and then developed into a book. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is like opposite of usual. Then we have another.
I see some question.
Yeah, I know the book definitely came out like right when the movie came out, so that could be true.
Yeah, and the last one here. Yeah, wish list. Y'all gotta make them. I think I don't know. Do you have the movie cover? Is that the cover that you had, Story?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I wanted
You can
to
see
cool, but book outlet, you know.
Right.
You only have so many options.
Yeah. Right. And sometimes they give you the cover you didn't expect, but
yeah,
the original cover of that book has almost made me cover buy it like maybe 5 or 6 times.
Oh, the blue one?
So maybe
is that the blue one with golden?
Yeah. anything with gold
I
filigree.
was like, wait.
This, if it makes you do this, I'm buying.
Yeah, their lungs, it's like flowers.
Hmm.
Right. I'm all about that. All right, Sydney, take it home. What'd you read?
All right. So I was studying to be an auror with Animagus, and the first was Charms, and that was Lumos Maxima, the white cover. And I read Dig by A.S. King.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
do you guys know what this is about?
I kind of
Heard about it so many times, but never remember what it was.
I love it. I gave it. It's like one of my. I had a great reading month. Okay, it was fantastic. I gave this 5 out of 5. I think everyone should read it. It's really, really good. It's basically about a family who they own a potato farm, but then one generation of the family sells it, and because they were bankrupt, they needed money, that type of thing. But the money they get from that deal, the grandparents decided to not give it to any of their children or their grandchildren, and let them fend for themselves, even when they were in trouble. And that kind of made the family split apart. Everyone was kind of estranged. So it's kind of about that situation, and it follows 5 teenagers in this situation, and it's super weird. It's kind of, in the beginning, for the first 50 pages, I was like, what am I reading? I don't know how to feel about this. But as it's going, it's so good, and it hits on some pretty hard topics. It talks about racism, mental health, or mental illness, depression, rape. But in all of those things, the way that A.S. King does it, she doesn't do it. It's not heavy. It's those are very prominent topics in the book, but it's not it's not too uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But it's so good, and it's so well done. So I would recommend.
I've heard that she does magical realism to explain more harder, serious topics.
And I can see that, because it's not even though those topics are really heavy, it didn't feel very heavy. I wasn't ooh.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really good. The next one was Defense Against the Dark Arts, so that was By the Sea or About the Sea. And I read Summer Salt by Katrina Leto. I don't know if anyone knows what this is, but it's about Georgina. She grows up in a family that's kind of magical. They live on an island called By the Sea, and every woman in her family kind of is magical. By the age of 18, they find their power, kind of, for lack of a better word. And it's really soon to be Georgina's 18th birthday, and she still hasn't found her power yet. And the island that they live on is kind of magical also in a way, because the weather is super weird. There's a 300-year-old crow that comes around every year. It's cute. It was adorable. I gave it 4 out of 5 because it is super predictable.
Yes.
But I didn't care because it was so cute.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Non-binary representation. And yeah, no, it was super cute. Even before halfway through the book, I was I know what's going to happen, but continue to read it, and I had a great time. It was adorable.
I mean, some books are perfect in that way. You read them because you enjoy the predictability, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And sometimes it's you just want to read it and be like, haha, I was right.
Yeah, right.
I've read that too, and
I could
the same way.
Book.
Right. I don't care. The next one was the herbology, so the Mimble Miss Mimbletonia. And I read Sasha.
The same one.
I'm the only one that hasn't read it, and I want to read it so bad.
You should.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. Tell us what you think.
I also actually had my boyfriend read it, so we are going to do a fun little video later for my channel. But
that's cute.
And It was so good. Super weird. It's not for, I could see how it's not for everyone, honestly. But like, just for people, if they don't know, I mean, really, it's a really quick synopsis. Like, it's twins called Roger and Dodger. They are not human. They were created kind of by this man named Reed. And like the catchphrase of the book, the last sentence in the synopsis is, "Godhood is attainable, pray it isn't attained." And it's like about their Roger and Dodger's life and like what it means to not to be who they are and what they are. It's really weird. But it's really good.
I love weird
It
books.
is really weird, yeah.
and I know I had a couple of friends who told me like it's really slow and like I thought it was really boring. But like me as a reader, like I love a slow burn. Like I love really getting to know my characters, you know? So like it's like throughout their life and like coming to like the climax of the story basically. I thought it was I thought it was great. I gave it like 4.5 to 5 out of 5. So would recommend as well.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Out.
The next one. Okay, so like the potions class showed up twice in my TBR. It was for like the Aurora and Animagus, and it was the book under 150 pages.
Okay.
And I read 2 poetry collections. I love poetry as well. Yes. This one is Bestiary by Danica Kelly, and then this one is Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith. Bestiary is, so it talks about like some of the major themes is it talks about like mythological creatures, and as well as the author herself, she was like kind of imprisoned in her house by her father growing up. So it's about like that situation and comparing it to all of these mythological creatures. And it was really interesting. Life on Mars is a kind of like sci-fi poetry. So like if you are someone who want to kind of get into poetry, I really recommend Life on Mars. I thought it was super easy to read. It was really interesting, especially if you like the sci-fi genre. Like I think it's a great stepping stone to like get into poetry. But like I thought it was really interesting to see like poetry talked about in sci-fi. Like I haven't heard of that before this little collection. And like Tracy K. Smith, her father worked on like the Hubble Space Telescope and talks about losing him and mentions like David Bowie and things like that. Like it's really good. Both of these, I don't really rate poetry collections. I feel like I don't feel comfy doing that because like there's a bunch of poems in here and like, you know, there's just too, I don't know. I just don't like to. But they were both really good. I would recommend both of them. Life on Mars for sure, for like the audience that a lot of us have. But yeah,
You're all good.
But like that Life on Mars sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I was really pleasantly surprised. Yeah,
I'm adding it to TBR.
Yeah. I just made a couple notes on the side here because I was like, wait a minute.
I was gonna say, you guys add me on Goodreads because I want to add all these to my TBR now.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, Google after, for sure.
The next one was Transfiguration. I have also, you see my animals like slinking around? If you do, sorry.
That adds to it.
I have a fluffy black cat and a black dog like laying over here. They just look like shadows.
Yeah.
But the Transfiguration showed up twice as well, so it's shapeshifters. The first one was City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. It's my first time going through the Shadowhunters series. I'm late to the party, and it's fine because I'm doing it now. But so this is like the second installment. Does everyone know the Shadowhunters? Pretty much.
Can you be on book 2 without knowing?
I have to.
But I'm also really behind. I'm not up to date on any of them. I stopped about like 3 years ago, so I can't.
Just starting this year, so it's okay.
I have the same issue with Clara that I have with Mass, so sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I really liked it. I think I liked the story a lot as compared to City of Bones. I mean, I talk about it in my wrap up and stuff, but like, it's some of the writing, like the adjective. It seems like sometimes in this book, particular, Cassandra Clare like latched on with an adjective or a way to describe something, or a noun in particular, and like said it a lot in different chunks of the book. Like I really noticed like the words that she was using.
I hate when you notice something like that because you can't unnotice it.
I was like,
you can't.
Got it. Move on. Like stop. But all in all, that was my really only my qualm, only big qualm with it. Because I liked the story. I love this type of book, so I still gave it 4 out of 5. So I'll continue with the series. And then the next one is my favorite book ever.
Of course.
Wonder what it could be.
It's Crescent City. Okay, I have a serious question for you guys. Is it Moss or Mass?
Mass, I think.
Mass.
Wait, that was between the two. One more time.
Because I genuinely don't know.
I say Mass.
Sarah Mass, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because we're American and ignorant. Right. Like, is it Moss?
Like, I've heard it both ways. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm gonna Google it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good. But until the results, it's a safe space. Whatever you want.
Whichever way it is, I've probably been saying it wrong the whole time. It's fine. It's casual at this point, right?
Okay, she tweeted that it's pronounced Mass, M-A-S-S.
Oh shoot.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I said it wrong my whole life up until now. It's fine. This was my first Sarah J. Maas book ever.
Okay.
So I was really nervous. I was like super anxious going into it. But honestly, it's one of my favorite books ever now. I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the characters. The morning after I finished it, I woke up depressed because I was like, I won't get to read about Bryson Hunt ever, like for a long time, and it was crushing. It was crushing. I did a singular vlog for it that I still have to like edit and post and all that good stuff, but it's a riot. It should be funny because I was destroyed by this book. No, I mean, 10 out of 5. I loved it.
Yeah, I think that if that book was actually my first Raja Maas, I would have loved her.
Yeah. Okay.
But I started with Throne of Glass. The first one I hated. The second one I hated. The third one I DNF'd. And because of that, I pushed myself to read it for a book club. I was in a reading slump for almost 2 months. So that's why I'm scared to even start another book by that author. But I found the story very interesting. But I think that's the same for the that one with Clara. What's the name? The Immortal Instrument series.
Yes,
I read the 3 first books. Then the 2 first books in the next series. Didn't like any of them. But I feel like the world building, the characters, everything is really interesting. It's really well done, etc. But the writing style, I feel like if I had read those books 10 years ago, I would have loved them. But now with everything else I've read, so I don't have any hate against those authors. Just putting
it totally it depends on like where you're at in your life as well as like your mindset.
Except for Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter, some adults hate that book, and I feel like that's middle grade. Actually, the beginning of a Harry Potter is middle grade. Then it turns into young fantasy, and it's not for everyone. So
I
think there's just a lot of factors that go into it, and like from my perspective, Mass or Cassandra Clare or big heavy hitters in the YA or adult fantasy genre, like they have a formula, and that formula works. So
Yeah.
they use that formula, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't like that formula, you're not gonna like what they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
no,
And
that's super true.
I've read something about Cassandra Clare, like the first series, Mortal Instruments. She wrote that, and then the second one is Infernal Devices or whatever, which is actually a fan fiction of her own first series. And I'm just like,
right.
what?
You're like, why?
Fan fiction Inception.
I've read that just before, like 10 minutes before the live or something like that. I'm just like, how can you write a fan fiction of your own work?
She's her biggest fan.
Right?
Right?
Someone's
She
gotta be the
believes in
biggest
herself, you know?
Yeah.
More power to you.
That's funny. And
All
that
right,
was,
let's
sorry, that was my
let's just-
boyfriend. I have one more book, sir, ma'am.
oh, my bad, girl, my bad. Continue. Yeah.
Sir,
I
ma'am,
wanna read
I'm
that
sorry,
so
Lindsay.
bad.
No, it's okay. I was just joking.
No, I said I want to read that so bad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to
When
read
you
that.
said you feel so bad, I was like, don't.
No,
Yeah,
don't.
was for arithmancy. Like it was. I picked like a graphic novel, manga type story because I don't read them very often. It was adorable. It was absolutely adorable. I mean, do we know what it is? Do you want me to? Do we know?
No, tell us.
About Greta. She is a blacksmith apprentice, and she is walking home from her like work or apprenticeship one day and finds a tea dragon in the marketplace and kind of rescues it from a little pack of wolves type thing. Probably not wolves. It's fantasy, but she takes the little tea dragon home and then finds its rightful owner and returns the dragon to the owner, and the owner asks her if she wants to learn the lost art of taking care of a tea dragon. And obviously she does. Who doesn't? So she does.
Right.
And it was adorable. I wanted more though. I know that there's other installments after this. But I feel like I still really enjoyed it. I gave it like 3.5 to 4 out of 5. Not for any like real reason other than I feel like they could have developed they could have talked more about like how to really take care of a tea dragon, and like it wasn't. I wanted more dragons. I wanted to talk about the dragons more. I love dragons. I mean, I know it's like super short and there's more after it, but I just wanted more. So it was still really cute. The illustrations are adorable. The little profiles in the back of the book are my favorite thing. They're just adorable.
Aww.
Yeah. I'm a fan. And I'm going to pick up the rest of the books as well. Hopefully it gives me what I want, but it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people have read that book recently and they said exactly the same thing. Super
Oh,
cute,
really?
adorable, but they wanted more out of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good. That makes me feel validated in a horrible way.
Yeah. I want to read it so bad. It looks so cute.
Yeah.
I just
It is.
feel like I
really
need
cute.
dragons in my life.
I love dragons.
Right?
Like I have been
Right.
asking people for dragon book recommendations for so long, and no one has really given me any. And that's all I want.
A natural history of
Okay.
dragons.
I literally wrote that down.
And I'm even sure you've heard of Priory. That's a brick.
Yes,
But
I
Priory
have.
of the Orange.
Back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's one as well. Yeah. And
Hair of-
Rage of Dragons
what?
is a good one too.
What was that one?
Rage
Which
of
one?
Dragons.
Oh.
Rage of Dragons. It's so what I've heard is there's more dragons at the end, like they're promised more in the series basically, but it's like a revenge story based around a world that has dragons, Rage
Cool.
of Dragons. And
Love
I
that.
really want to read it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't read it yet, but all right, let's are you good, Sydney?
Yes, I'm good. I'm done.
Actually.
Actually.
All right, let's
Surprise.
All right. We have one comment back from the 5 feet apart, I believe, time, if it will show. Oh, well. Shade Tree Read, super late, but hi. Hi. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I appreciate that. Let's see.
It's really good.
I really want to read Summer of Soul. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people like it. So
It's super cute.
let's see what else. Yeah.
You should get it.
Want to read Middle
It was on Book Alley for a little bit, and I was too late to the game, and they just haven't had it up there since. So I'm just gonna have to get it another way.
And the cover of Middle Game is like one of my favorite ever. It's like super weird, kind of creepy, and it's so aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it that. You know what? I'll give the book that.
All right.
Yeah, the cover is boss. We have called Mass in the Netherlands. Cool.
Nice. I love that.
Another one here. Book by Sarah J. Maas is Catwoman.
Read it.
Yeah. I really think you're gonna enjoy it. I haven't read Catwoman, so I can't speak on that, but Crescent City is a good one to pick up.
I actually didn't know Crescent City was its own thing. I guess I just assumed it was a part of her series. I don't know.
No, it's a brand new like adult series.
Adults. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Math and recommendations. Corona book virus? What? Coronavirus books recommended?
No. Backspace.
That's a little cringy right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make about that one.
Same.
Oh, so you're not alone.
That makes me feel better because I kind of felt bad, like giving it the rating that I was because everyone seemed to love it. Yeah, I adored it too, but like, no, that makes me feel better because I was like, I feel bad, but like that's how I feel.
Yeah, but how do you rate the books? Like, do you have like a simple system, like all of you, 5, 4, like? How
so
do
like,
you?
I do like out of 5. So like I do like if it's 5 out of 5, it's like this book changed me in a way, and I love it so much. Like I will always think greatly of this book. 4 is like I love that book. It was fantastic. Like period. And then 3 is like it was good. I enjoyed it. And then 2 for me is like it was all right. And then 1 is I did not like that.
Yeah.
Like it was not that great at all.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. Story, what's your rating?
So I'm a bit different than a lot of other people on YouTube because there's a lot of booktubers that are very like critical. I just read for like plain entertainment and fun. Like with 5 Feet Apart, like it was cute, it entertained me, so I gave it 4 stars. And like I said, if you read the reviews, people criticize the heck out of it, and I don't read that way. Like if I have fun, I'm gonna give it 5 stars, if that makes sense. But for me, like a 3 stars, like an average. Like I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. It's just like. It is what it is. 4 stars, I liked it. It just wasn't amazing. 5 star obviously is amazing. I give books 5 stars when I have it in my mind, like there's no way I could ever give this 4 stars. Like it does not deserve 4 stars. And then 2 stars, I didn't like it, but it wasn't horrible, I guess. And then 1 star, obviously, is just like, why did I even read that?
Right. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty similar to Sydney in my rating scale. 5 is like, dear God, I'm gonna love this book forever. Basically, it's 5 stars is a pretty big deal for me. 4 stars I use quite often, where it's like, wow, I really, really enjoyed this book, but it doesn't have that hard hitting impact on me. 3 stars is pretty similar to what Story said. It's like, it was alright. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yeah. 2 stars is kind of a waste of my time, but not completely. Like there were some redeeming qualities to this. And then 1 is very, very rare for me. If I give it a 1 star, it's like, can you burn this book? Basically, it's like 1 star is really, really rare. So one of the only books.
Middle Game.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
2.5.
I swear to God.
Oh, 2.5. That's
Oh,
not
I thought you said one. I was like, get out.
No, not a one. Not a one.
I was like,
That's
my heart. Okay.
Like, my love for the Wayward Children series and Shauna Maguire's writing salvaged that book for me, basically.
I totally get it. Like, Shauna Maguire's writing style is so different than anyone else I've ever read. It's like he has a way of making everything so, like, eerie and, like, what are you saying? Oh, she. Sorry.
I was wondering. I was like, is it a girl?
My boyfriend's downstairs listening, apparently, and he goes, she.
You got your hype man in the back.
I know. He's always right there. No, but she has always a way of making it sound like super eerie, but like, I don't know, there's always like a dark undertone, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting. Yeah.
And that's something that I do enjoy about her writing. And I love also her writing under Myra Grant. I don't know if you read her other books under her other pseudonym, but those books are also the same, like a dark undertone.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, what happened with Middle Game was I'm a character-based reader, and if I can't connect with the characters, the book is rough for me. And I just didn't connect to any of them. So I think, that's just what it was. But the only book I can think off the top of my head that was 1 star is The Cursed Child, because that book can burn. Like, I hate, it's not a book, the play. I hate that written play so much. But
see, I gave it 3 stars just because it's in the Harry Potter world, but I'm like completely with you. Like, I couldn't give it under 3 stars because I'm like, it's Harry Potter. But I agree.
Yeah. All right, and I guess the last one who hasn't told the rating is Sasha. What's your rating scale?
Oh, I used to be like you, just 5 stars. I love it, etc. But the half stars was so annoying. So now I use the co-pile system that G over at BookWorms created. So basically, you have to rate out of 10 the characters, the atmosphere, the writing, the plot, the intrigue, the logic, and the enjoyment. And then at the end, it gives you a star rating out of 5. So that's what I use now. And I've been more critical now, and I can see like sometimes I want a book to be 4 stars, but it's actually a 3 stars, or I want it to be a 3 stars, but it's a 4 star. So I'm like, I'm trying.
That's actually really intriguing to me. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and she created like a sheet, etc. You can download like spreadsheet, and it's really useful. And you put like you have some data, etc. You put the genre it was, the age category, etc., etc. And then at the end of the month, you have how many pages you've read, how many books, how was your rating, etc., etc. So it's really helpful for the end of the year.
Okay. Yeah. Especially, right?
The co-pile system.
Co-pile system.
Yeah, CAWPILE.
Cool.
Yeah, that's Book Roast. So just write down that on YouTube and you'll find. So.
Shade Tree Reed says The Rage of Dragons was so fucking good. Yeah, I've heard nothing except that. So.
Written down.
Yeah, it's by Evan Winter. She was just giving a shout out to the author there. Evan Winter.
Oh, I've read another book with dragons. I don't know if you read it, Fire and Heist. Don't read it.
Oh, don't. Okay, I'll check that out.
I was getting ready, girl.
I know, me too. I had my pen.
No, just don't read it. Like, you have dragon because the people have the ability to turn themselves into dragon. But everything comes too easy to the character. It's way too predictable, and it's like 200 pages long. So it's not the best. It's what I would call a contemporary fantasy. So it's
interesting.
Is that a thing?
Apparently, yes. Like I just discovered that dark academia was a subgenre as well. I didn't know. You have so many subgenres out there.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So the last Nemsara, I've heard of that as a dragon book.
Didn't like the reader.
Over here. But really?
I'm a fan of dragons, but if you I don't know. The last Namzara was not focused on dragon. It was focused on the characters and her relationship with her family and what she had to do, etc. I just don't like whiny characters. Like, if you're in a bad place, or you're doing something about it, or you just face it, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I don't like whiny characters, so
Yeah.
I would not especially recommend that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she said it's partly about dragons in her follow-up one. So, yeah, not all the way. We have another one here. She says there's a sequel to Tea Dragons, right? Yeah, there's a sequel, right?
Right? Or is there just 2 right now?
Two? I don't know. 2?
I know there's at least 2.
Okay.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
3, 4. What? No. I think 3 are out.
Okay. 3. Okay.
Oh no, the third one is coming out in September of this year. So yeah.
Okay, then you beat me.
Yeah, the 2.
I agree. Leanne?
Lean.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
When I first joined BookTube, I was like, I need to be critical of these books, and I just didn't enjoy it. Like, I was like, if I'm going to read, I need to read for, what I want to read and what is fun or entertaining to me, and just not think about that. And I could just, read so many more books that way. But if I actually sit there and think too much about it, I guess I'm like, this isn't fun.
I'm the other way, and it's really interesting because I think it's the Ravenclaw in me that I want to know everything about the book. Like, I want to think about, like, why. I want to think, why would they put this character in? Or, like, why would they say this way? And I don't like how they said it that way. Or, like, something like that. And, like, make a note of, like, what I love annotating. I love going through the book as I read and, like, marking, like red for, like, anger, or red for, like, I hate that. And, like going through all the different colors. But I think that's really funny because I definitely think that's, like, why I'm a Ravenclaw.
Well, I love doing that too. I think it's more of, like, the problematic stuff, I guess. Like, you just hear that word a lot, and it's like, I get so much trash for liking Twilight, and I'm like, but Twilight's, like, embedded in my heart. Like, what do you mean? Like, I know it's problematic, but I still, I don't know.
Yeah, no. A lot of my enjoyment is, like, I rate a lot based on, like, how I feel, but, like, also, I mean, it's half and half, but, like, how I feel about a book is, like, mostly how I rate, I think, as well.
On feeling, it's one of those. I think
like, it's a mix.
I think you can enjoy something. This thing, right?
Yeah, intertwined.
She likes to talk.
I don't know. I feel like you can enjoy something problematic as long as you acknowledge the issues that are in it. And I have, and I think that this could be a whole other live stream if we delved into it. But the idea of separating the author from the problematic author from their works, that could be a whole other discussion. But I'm a proponent of being able to do that as long as you acknowledge the problematic aspect of it. So, but I do see the point that is made by our viewer here that, it can go down half a point. That's a way of acknowledging, I loved it, but this was here, thing. And then the last comment we had here. Oh, is that the name of the rating scale?
Yeah, that's a Kopai system, for characters, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, what's the L? Logic, enjoyment. So,
Wow.
Sounds logical to me. All right. And then to kind of close it out, round it down, let's do the last point here, which is favorite books or least favorite books from, like, what you read in this owl. So not of life, but just from this.
Yeah, well, okay.
Thing. This is a hard one.
I probably could go first because mine's, like, pretty quick.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I didn't like most of what I read, so I guess 5 Feet Apart's my favorite. That was 4 stars. I don't think I ever said Shakespeare sonnets. I gave 3.5. I don't know though. I don't even want to say the rating because I don't know how I feel about it. It's Shakespeare. Like, how do you rate Shakespeare?
Right.
Right.
But my least favorite was probably The Kissing Game, that audiobook. Girl That Drank the Moon, I gave like 1.5. So I won't say it's my least favorite just to help Sasha out a little bit.
No, it's okay. You can hate my favorite books. I'm fine with that.
No, The Kissing Game was way worse than that book. So
Okay.
that's mine.
All right. I'll do my summary here. Probably my least favorite would have been Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. Like I said before, part of this was my fault because I went in thinking it was going to be like real people's stories, and then it was fiction. So my expectations weren't met in that regard. And just like I said, the reading process was not fun because you're not supposed to like any of the characters, and you don't, right? So
Yeah.
But the overall feeling of the book wasn't horrible. Thus, it's not 1 star. But this sits at 2, so this is the one that I like the least. And then the most has got to be A Man Called Ove, or Uwe, which is not what I expected. Like, I almost never have a contemporary as a favorite, but I'm begging you guys to read that book. It's so funny and so just it hits your heart in such an amazing way. So I highly recommend that one. That one's definitely 5 stars, top of the charts for me this month. So, what about you, Sydney?
So I literally gave all of my books really high ratings. I had a great month. I'm nervous for next month now. I mean, I guess that I would say Tea Dragon Society is my least, but it's like not because I hated it or anything. Like, out of all of the books that I read, I probably enjoyed this the least, even though I enjoyed it a lot, you know. Just because I wanted more. I mean, you know, we've been through this. We don't have to go through it again. But my favorite is
I wonder
and Dig. Like, both of them I enjoyed so much for very different reasons. Like, I'm obsessed with Crescent City, just all of it. But then Dig was just like perfectly crafted, and it was like everything that it talked about was like really important, and it was really good. So they're very different books, but like both of them are my favorite. If I had to pick one, Crescent City, but you know, here we are.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Sasha?
So my least favorite will have to be The Binding. I love the fantasy aspect of it, and I love, how can I explain that with no spoilers? From the middle of the book, you forget about the fantasy and it turns into a romance. And I appreciate the romance because LGBT, etc. But the thing is that I would have loved the fantasy to go along with the romance story till the end. But we just forgot about the fantasy, so I was disappointed. And my favorite one will have to be that one. So no, I'm not picking Middle Game, just because this is a sequel, and usually the sequel for me are less good than the first one. And I've already read the third one, 5 stars as well. The fourth one is on my TBR for next month, so I feel like that's going to be a 5-star series. So that's why I picked that one and not Middle Game. But Middle Game is as good.
Yeah, agreed. That was a close third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say a 5-star series is really rare. So I would, like, for me, one of the only 5-star series I probably have 2. I have the Nevernight trilogy by Jay Kristoff and the Stormlight Archive behind me. Those are like the only ones that have been a 5-star series for me in the past 2 years. Yeah. Oh, you know what? You're right. It's actually up on my shelf. You called me out. 3.
That's right. I literally sobbed when I finished Crooked Kingdom. We won't go into it, but I sobbed.
Yeah, that's
good.
Stellar. I'll give that one as well.
Okay.
Have any of you guys had any other 5-star series or duologies in the past 2 years? Like the whole series has been 5?
Shannon Maguire, We Were Children.
I feel like I read a little differently than you guys, but the Carball series has been a 5-star series for me. But again, it's so entertaining and fun, and it's just like a blast to read. So yeah.
I haven't read it, but those covers are always like read me when I see them. So
they're beautiful. I have the UK too, but the Carball UK edition's out of print, so I can't find it. And
wasn't that the one that I was supposed to get you?
Yeah, I
couldn't find it either.
Yeah, I won Sydney's giveaway, and I was like, please find the Carball UK edition. Yeah, it's you can't find it anywhere.
I spent one full night shift on whenever I had a break, I was searching, scouring the internet, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I think about this all the time. It is the only book I don't have, but it's fine.
No. Casual, it's fine.
Read a lot of books.
Yeah, read a lot of old books. Gets out there, easily enjoys books. But yeah, I mean, older books,
Writing styles changed with the times. It's right. I can see how that's hard.
Right. Absolutely. Next one. The best thing I read last month was a manga, Food Wars. Yes, to manga, but I haven't read Food Wars before. I don't know what that's about. I'm intrigued.
Oh my goodness, Illuminate. How did I forget?
I love Illuminate.
It's literally one of my favorite series in the whole world. I love it so much.
Really? I haven't read it yet, but I definitely I'm intrigued by it. I want to.
So good.
It's there.
No. It's right up there with
sci-fi. It's a nice way to go. Yeah.
Puppy. April is not the best reading for me. Oh, hi, puppy.
And when I said that, my dog
she eats my hair.
I think that
food. It's fine.
Oh, now she's whining.
I can agree with you, Shade Tree Reads, about not having the best reading month.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There's always
it happens.
It happens. We don't like it, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, February and March were horrible for me. In March and February, I think I've read 2 books. I didn't even like them, so that's fine. It happens.
Right. Breathing Fire, Becca K. Lilly is a good dragon book. All right, Breathing Fire. That sounds good. Oh, I got my answer to Food Wars. Thank you, Shade Tree. Let's see. Food Wars is about a boy who cooks at his family's restaurant, trying to live up to his dad's expectations, and he gets into an elite cooking school. Whoa, that sounds awesome. Oh, I'm looking into owning a restaurant in my future, so this sounds up my alley.
Yeah, it does. There you go.
Yeah. My favorite book for the Owls was a Dutch nonfiction story collection. Unique.
Yeah. Love that.
Very unique. Okay, and then as the final thing before we go, last point is, are there any readathons for you in May? Or are you just reading what you want to read?
Reading what I want to read.
Me too.
Yeah. 100%.
I was the same. Oh no, I was the same at the end of the hour. So I was like, don't talk to me about readathons anymore. I need a break. And I'm doing the Storribook and Believeathon. So,
so that didn't happen.
No, but July for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing the Asian readathon in May.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So from Read with Cindy. So I just filmed my TBR today. I'm pretty excited by a lot of the books. So, but that one's specifically designed to be so you could read one book or you could read a book for every prompt. So I really appreciate that aspect of it. But it's completely my own doing. Huh? What'd you say?
Dang it, you're intriguing me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know Read with Cindy, but if you just look her up, she, made the readathon really accessible on purpose. So I highly recommend just checking it out.
Okay.
And also she created a guide.
In the future now.
There are thousands of recommendations. So
yeah, thousands.
Cool.
It's a lot.
Okay, maybe. We'll see.
And also,
right. But wait.
oh man. Well, obviously, there's thunder outside. Can you guys hear that? There's about to be a thunderstorm over here. Just me? All right.
Outside my window, they're just waking up.
Okay. All right, and we had one last comment here. I'm doing the Asian. Did I click it right? No, I didn't. I'm doing Asian Readathon, Mental Healthathon, and Believeathon. 3! Woo! I hope some of those can overlap because that's going to be
More power to you. More power to you.
I'm doing Light versus Dark Readathon. I didn't know about that one. Tome Topple and Disney Readathon. Another triple. Tome Topple I'm intrigued by, but I didn't think I could handle that.
I hate myself. I'm writing down all of the names of these readathons. I can't stop.
I made a video with all the readathons coming in May and June.
Only Believeathon this month, trying to relax a bit. I respect that.
Yeah.
And but I'm not stressing about it. I'm just taking them all easy. All right.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Healthy. Okay, guys. Well, we've almost talked for 2 hours. This has been wonderful, but
so much fun.
Yeah, it really has been. This is great.
Yeah.
We should, get together again.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm down whenever.
Whenever.
I'm in the world.
I love that. Love
We
that.
could do a wrap-ups like this, like at the end of May, at the end of June, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't
That'd
do
be really
that
fun.
on my channel, so that'd be good.
Yeah, I would love to do that. We could kind of just make it a monthly thing,
Yeah.
Cool. We have the
We
rocket pops.
I probably have one book every month, and Sasha has like 12.
Fine.
No. It happened once. That's
Okay.
You never know. Next month, maybe you'll have 12, she'll have 1. You never know. So,
Yeah.
Nah.
but, that would be fun.
Maybe next month I'll have all 2-star reads instead of 4 and 5.
Oh no! I will
wish
not wish that.
Yeah, right? Right? It's kind of like after a month like that, you're like, why do I read again? I hate that. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone who joined us, whoever came in and out. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be sure to be following anyone that joined us that I don't follow already. And please follow these lovely ladies. If you look in the description down below, everyone has everyone's pose. I can't with you
We have
guys.
something on the screen. Can they see our names?
I think they
yeah.
can see our
It's on
names.
the screen.
Okay.
So, and in the description down below, everyone has an individual link to an O.W.L.s related content video, if it's the TBR or whatever. So you can click that and go to everyone's channel from there. But thanks for joining us. And this was really fun. Let's all get together again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
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 Bye. Maybe.
Do I just log out? Do I exit out? Is that what I do?
I hit end broadcast, but it's not ending. Hold on.
I don't think we can do anything.
I mean,
I'm working on it. We
I
can
see
wait
a
for a
lead
little longer
video.
if you want.
okay.